Before Australia was discovered, people in the Old World believed that all swans were white, a belief seemingly confirmed by empirical evidence. The sighting of the first black swan may have been a surprise to ornithologists, but the true significance of the story lies elsewhere. One of the important values of literature is that it nourishes our emotional lives. An effective literary work can speak directly to us, especially when we are ready to receive its message. The inner life that good writers reveal in their characters often gives us insights into ourselves, allowing us to experience a range of emotions through the characters instead of upending our own lives. Members of a culture must conform to its norms for the culture to function properly. To ensure this, members must internalize the social norms and values that define what is normal within the culture. They must then pass these norms and values on to their children through socialization. Greece, viewing it as a civic occasion tied to the political and cultural achievements of Athens. Through archaeology and analysis of contemporary art forms like pottery decoration, a picture of ancient Greek theatre is constructed. Recycling involves converting used materials into new products, reducing the need to consume natural resources. If materials are not recycled, new products are made by extracting fresh raw materials from the earth through mining and forestry. Recycling helps conserve vital raw materials and protects natural habitats for the future. In this course, we will explore how department stores, nationally advertised brand name goods, mass-produced cars, and suburbs transformed the American economy, society, and politics. The course is organized both thematically and chronologically, with each period dealing with new developments in the history of consumer culture. The tortoise's size and shell shape vary depending on where they live. The shell, made of bone, is a dull brown color. The tortoise's ribs, backbone, and breastbone have become part of the shell, which is why they cannot be separated from it. An industry or workplace often has its own terms for certain items, places, or groups of people, and a university is no different. Here, we have attempted to explain some of the terms you may come across on our website that are specific to higher education. We seek to improve learners' experience of education at college and help them aspire, achieve, and progress. We must embed equality and diversity in everything we do, both as a provider and an employer. We hope to prepare our students for work, higher education, and citizenship by equipping our staff with the skills to meet this agenda. The natural environment can be hazardous, and with increased travel and leisure, people today are more likely than ever to be exposed to potentially life-threatening conditions. Although the human body can adjust to some extent, it cannot cope with poisons or prolonged exposure to extremes of the environment. In the late 16th and 17th centuries, many English, French, and Dutch emigrants went to North America in search of gold and silver. But they did not find it. Instead, settlers were forced to support themselves by cultivating crops like tobacco, indigo, and rice that they could sell in Europe. Various explanations for volcano behavior existed before the structure of the Earth's mantle as a semi-solid material was developed. For decades, awareness that compression and radioactive materials may be heat sources was discounted, and volcanic action was often attributed to chemical reactions and a thin layer of molten rock near the surface. The brain is divided into hemispheres by a prominent groove. At the base of this lies nerve fibers, enabling the two halves of the brain to communicate with each other. However, the left hemisphere usually controls movement and sensation on the right side of the body, while the right hemisphere controls the left side. This is a new, accessible, and engaging textbook written by academics who also work as consultants with organizations undergoing change. It offers a unique combination of rigorous theoretical exploration along with practical insights from working with those actually responsible for managing change. The latest scientific evidence on the nature and strength of the links between diet and chronic diseases is examined and discussed in detail in the following sections of this report. This section gives an overall view of the current situation and trends in chronic diseases at the global level. The word radical, from the Latin word for roots, means anyone who advocates fundamental change in the political system. Literally, a radical is one who proposes to attack some political or social problem by going deep into the social or economic fabric to get at the root cause and alter this basic weakness. We believe in the inherent value of research in the humanities and social sciences. Our research data agenda is driven by the pursuit of new knowledge that will benefit Australia and the world. We offer one of the most comprehensive programs in the humanities and social sciences in Australia and the Asia-Pacific region. Yet it is precisely in observing the intertwinings of success and failure that Chasing the Flame makes its greatest mark. With piercing insight and relentless logic, it reveals the pitfalls of international politics and details an intricate struggle between individual and institution. It haunts us with the poignant truth that even a great man can only do so much to reinvent the world. A thesis is a claim that you can argue for or against. It should be something you can present persuasively and clearly within the scope of your paper, so keep in mind the page count. If possible, Your thesis should also be somewhat original. The United States is currently the world's market for motor cars and trucks. An agent for the U.S. Bureau of Foreign and Domestic Commerce reports a prosperous condition prevailing in Japan, which is buying more automobiles, especially large cars, than ever before. The physical location of a restaurant in the competitive landscape of a city has long been known as a major factor in its likely success or failure. Once restaurants are established in such environments, they can do little about their location. All they can do is work to improve customer access to their premises. Restaurateurs often do this by engaging in battles with local authorities about car parking. Most babies start developing their hearing while still in the womb, prompting some hopeful parents to play classical music to their pregnant bellies. Some research even suggests that infants are listening to adult speech as early as 10 weeks before birth, gathering the basic building blocks of their family's native tongue. University of Adelaide researchers have uncovered fundamental new information about the malting characteristics of barley grains. They say their finding could pave the way to more stable brewing processes or new malts for craft brewers. Published in the journal Scientific Reports, the researchers discovered a new link between one of the key enzymes involved in malt production for brewing and a specific tissue layer within the barley grain. Written by 3 eminent professors, this book has been updated to reflect the shifts in sociological thought over the last 5 years, making it the most comprehensive, authoritative, and up-to-date dictionary available. It is essential reading for all students and teachers of sociology and related courses, as well as the general reader. Food is one of the most important things you'll ever buy, yet most people never bother to think about their food and where it comes from. People spend much more time worrying about what kind of blue jeans to wear, what video games to play, and what computers to buy. We all know about bacteria, viruses, and microscopic protozoa. We can watch the way these tiny agents move into our bodies and damage our organs. We have a growing understanding of how our body mounts defensive strategies that fight off these invaders, and we have built some clever chemicals to help mount an assault on these biovillains. We can see from the X-rays that at an early stage of painting, a window was painted in on the left side of the portrait. It seems there may have been 2 windows in the initial design, or the window was moved at an early stage. Many papers you write in college will require you to include quotes from one or more sources. Even if you don't have to, integrating a few quotes into your writing can add life and persuasiveness to your arguments. The key is to use quotes to support a point you're trying to make rather than just include them to fill space. On May 3, a couple of weeks later, Lincoln issued an executive order calling for 43,000 three-year volunteers for the Army and also increasing the size of the regular Army and Navy by 40,000 men. Both actions were in apparent violation of the Constitution. Participating regularly in physical activity has been shown to benefit an individual's health and well-being. Regular physical activity is important in reducing the risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease and stroke, obesity, diabetes, and some forms of cancer. The National Physical Activity Guidelines for adults recommend at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity, preferably every day, to obtain health benefits. Since our graduate admission school is not centralized, each of the university schools and colleges admits students to its own programs. For information about specific program degrees, graduate applications, admission requirements and procedures, scholarships, and the status of your application, visit the individual school websites. We've spent a lot of money over the last 70 years on flood control, and it's protected millions of people and saved us billions of dollars. We've built dams to hold back the waters, built levees to keep the water off the people, and raised the ones that were originally started in 1718. Scholars build their own personal libraries to support not only particular projects but also general reading in their field. They buy or make photocopies of materials when possible so they can consult them frequently, mark passages, and write annotations on them. When moving into a new field, they add to their collections, usually concentrating on primary texts. The wonderful framework of mature trees creates a secluded, enclosed atmosphere that unites a great variety of plantings to inspire visitors in all seasons. Spring in the garden is marked by the leafing up and flowering of trees and the eruption of flowers in the bulb meadows and woodland understory. Don't miss the very beginning of a lecture, as that is often the most valuable part. It reviews previous lectures or outlines objectives and lecture structure. If you easily get distracted by other students, sit near the front. In the late 16th and 17th centuries, many English, French, and Dutch emigrants went to North America in search of gold and silver. But they did not find it. Instead, settlers were forced to support themselves by cultivating crops like tobacco, indigo, and rice that they could sell in Europe. How do we imagine the unimaginable? If we were asked to think of an object, say, a yellow tulip, a picture immediately forms in our mind's eye. But what if we try to imagine a concept such as the square root of a negative number? The natural environment can be hazardous, and with increased travel and leisure, people today are more likely than ever to be exposed to potentially life-threatening conditions. Although the human body can adjust to some extent, it cannot cope with poisons or prolonged exposure to extremes of the environment. Another administration option is to bake marijuana at a relatively low temperature to kill any dangerous microorganisms and then allow the patient to eat or drink it. Both of these methods make smoking the drug unnecessary. However, criticism of medical marijuana has been raised because, as a natural plant, it cannot be patented and marketed by pharmaceutical companies and is unlikely to win widespread medical acceptance. Another factor in farmers' decisions is the overall availability of water. Is there enough for them to carry out the planned water-intensive activities? They have to take into account the loss of water through seepage, evaporation, and inefficiencies in the water distribution system. The weather forecasts should also be carefully considered before deciding when and what to plant. In this course, we will explore how department stores, nationally advertised brand name goods, mass-produced cars, and suburbs transformed the American economy, society, and politics. The course is organized both thematically and chronologically, with each period dealing with new developments in the history of consumer culture. We can see from the X-rays that at an early stage of painting, a window was painted in on the left side of the portrait. It seems there may have been two windows in the initial design, or the window was moved at an early stage. I've always tried to do my best, and I know the community appreciates that. Although I must admit that occasionally we need a policeman who understands how to take care of people who take advantage of the rules. Climate change has caused the Earth's temperature to rise, which has led to the glaciers melting. The melting glaciers are a problem because they are causing sea levels to rise. Sea levels rise for two reasons: water from the melting glaciers flows into the ocean, and warm water expands and takes up more space than cold water. The development of a true sense of perspective and proportion in visual representation was the central achievement of the Renaissance, and the most important influence of Italian art on the other countries of Europe. In late 2008, Germany's unemployment rate had fallen to a level not seen since shortly after reunification. The question is how much longer the German job market can remain so buoyant. Germany has the largest and most successful economy in Europe, with a population of about 82 million. It is known for its high level of skilled labor and robust export industry.